Election day is Tuesday, and for those of you who follow Oklahoma politics closely, that's probably you, then you know the Republican primary runoff often, not always, but often, ends up being the most competitive statewide race in the election cycle. And the odds makers will tell you that who wins Tuesday between Mike Mazzei and Gintner Drummond, that person will be heavily favored to become the next governor. Now remember though, this race started with 9 Republicans in the field. Only 2 remain. But what are the others saying? Here's KOCO's Dakota Wapakichi.
This summer, the field of Republicans who want to be the next governor chopped down to 2, Mike Mazzei and Gintner Drummond. In June, Chip Keating, Jake Merrick, Charles McCall, and 4 other Republicans all learned their campaigns were done. Now, some of them are spreading endorsements in the runoff between Drummond and Mazzei.
I find myself aligning more closely with Mike Mazzei. So I'll be supporting him for governor, not because someone told me to, not because the president endorsed him, and not because I dislike Gintner Drummond. Mike is just closer to where I believe Oklahoma needs to go.
Jake Merrick in June's primary finished 4th with 58,000 votes. Mazzei and Drummond's teams are fighting for his voters. Recently, he and Chip Keating appeared on a new Oklahoma politics podcast called Clowns Left, Jokers Right, and Keating says he won't be making an endorsement.
Concerns with Mike is I don't know what Mike stands for, and I'm worried about the flip-flopping. I want to elect a man or a woman of principle. With Gintner, I have concerns that he is going to be continue to be a tax and spend liberal.
Keating finished 3rd in June with 74,000 votes. Charles McCall came up 5th, and for the first time since primary night, he's posted on social media.
You'll keep hearing from us because this was never just about an election. It was about our best days still being ahead. If you stood with me or with any other candidate who came up short, don't set this one out. Go vote August 25th.
There were 9 Republican candidates in that race. Many of the other candidates didn't gather more than 5,000 votes. But that isn't stopping some of them. Lisa Mitchell-Haynes is supporting Drummond and says she doesn't like Mazzei.
If he spent over $10 million to win this or to buy this governor's seat, I wonder why. How fast can you say bought off?
Now, whoever wins the runoff goes up against Democrat Cindy Munson in November's general election. Reporting, I'm Dakota Wapakichi, KOCO 5 News.
And another statewide GOP runoff we're watching closely this week is the race for state superintendent. Lyndall Fields, who you remember replaced Ryan Walters, vowed when he was appointed by the governor to not run for election this November. So our Kylie Thomas sat down with the 2 Republicans still in the running to take Lyndall Fields' place.
The crowded Republican field for state superintendent is now down to just 2. 2 classroom educators are now battling to earn the Republican ticket and face Democratic nominee Dr. Janetta Marshall in November. In the primary election, Dr. Robert Franklin led the stacked Republican field with 22.6% of the vote. Dr. James Taylor followed with 19.7%.
Well, it's an odd feeling because I've never been in politics, and so you're wondering, is this in real time or are we in a fantasy land here? And
This was the hand of God. God orchestrated all of this.
Ahead of the August 25th runoff, KOCO sat down one-on-one with both candidates. So, if elected, where would they start?
No parent should be treated as an obstacle or pain or, a special interest group just because they asked the simple question, what are you teaching my child?
For Dr. James Taylor, a history and government teacher at Little Axe High School and pastor, it starts with parental empowerment. As a teacher, Taylor says he personally calls every parent on the first day of school. He believes that same level of communication should start at the top by giving parents a stronger voice at the State Department of Education.
I'm toying with the idea of having a parental advisory board to be a part of my team because parents are the first and most important teachers that any child will ever have. And there is no way that any organization or administration is going to know that child better than their mom and dad.
For Dr. Robert Franklin, improving public education starts with how the state leads its schools. After more than 4 decades in education, the Hall of Fame educator says Oklahoma needs a tested leader who can bring people together and spend less time on politics and more time improving student outcomes.
What is a must-do on your agenda when you become superintendent?
we must do this. We must bring in right people. We must collaborate differently than we have in the last couple of 3 years. We must try to keep politics and agendas that are really divisive away from the schoolhouse and from the children and the folks that are doing the heavy lifting.
Both candidates agree things won't improve without a focused effort to support Oklahoma teachers. For Franklin, that starts by keeping experienced teachers in Oklahoma with competitive pay and ongoing professional development, while building a stronger teacher pipeline by recruiting high school students through tuition waivers and internships.
Teachers are not the problem. Teachers are the solution. We just don't have enough long-linked, well-trained warriors at our fingertips. Thank goodness we have the ones that are here. We can do this work. We know how to do work. It takes a good, strong coach, one that's not a pushover. I'm not beholden to anyone. This is not a hobby for me to run for an office. This is not a hobby. This is a passion.
Taylor says supporting teachers begins before they ever have a classroom of their own. He wants first-year teachers paired with experienced mentors and more hands-on training in classroom management and student discipline.
The discipline is paramount. We have got to make sure that our teachers, when the teachers are dealing with discipline issues in their classroom, they have to have the support of the administration. That's one of my strengths is classroom management. That's one of the things that we have to get that taken care of, because that's one of the reasons why teachers leave. You know, money is one, but that's not really one of the major reasons why teachers are leaving.
Our one-on-one conversations with the Republican candidates will continue ahead of the August 25th runoff as we compare their plans to lead Oklahoma public education. In Oklahoma City, Kylie Thomas, KOCO 5 News.
Kylie Thomas reporting and joining us here on Oklahoma Chronicle. Kylie, I wanted to have you on here, and thanks for being here, because that wasn't the only story that you put together. You had long conversations with both of these gentlemen. You talked to them about other things, like some of the new laws that we saw with education. For example, the new recess law. How are they feeling about that?
Yeah, I wanted to ask them about the biggest education challenges facing our school districts this school year, and one of them is that new recess law, adding an extra 20 minutes. And I wanted to ask them what best advice they want to give to school districts on how to best incorporate that. Now, for James Taylor, he said there is no one way to do that, and it's kind of up to school districts. As for Robert Franklin, he said more play is great for kids, but said that the implementation needs a little work and suggested going back to the legislators to get more input from teachers on what's best for them.
Now, what about the new literacy laws? Because obviously that has been a huge push. Do they both like what they've seen going forward? Especially when it comes to that third grade stopgap where they say we might need to start holding kids back after third grade if they can't read where they need to be at that level.
Right, that's definitely the more controversial topic when it comes to the Strong Readers Act, which is mirrored after this Mississippi Miracle. Both candidates were a proponent of this new legislative act, but said that they are in support of restricting students from moving on to the next grade at third grade when it comes to literacy or making sure that they hit those certain benchmarks. James Taylor said especially for subjects like math, they build upon each other. So if a student doesn't get it now, he doesn't think that they'll get it in the next grade. As for Robert Franklin, he said that intervention needs to start before third grade. He suggested that intervention needs to start in first grade and really actually ramping up in middle school to ensure kind of long-term success.
So does that indicate, did Robert Franklin indicate that perhaps if he wins this election that he will want to change these laws, that he'll want to go to lawmakers and say we need to start this earlier? Did he give that indication?
He definitely, when it came to the recess law, said that he did explicitly want to go back to legislators and ask about, better implementing that and asking school districts what's best for them, but didn't mention too much about the Mississippi Miracle, the Strong Readers Act, and how he wants to incorporate that.
Ryan Walters, the former state superintendent, he still casts a large shadow over how people look at the state Department of Education. And whether you love him or you hate him, what did these two men say about Ryan Walters and how they saw him and his leadership, his time in charge?
Yeah, I asked them about his time and how they would, if they were to receive the job, if they were to get the gig, if they would mirror him or if they would depart from his leadership style. Robert Franklin said that he is more in support and likes the leadership style that our current interim state superintendent Lindale Fields has. As for James Taylor, he said that he is nothing like Robert Franklin and that he he said that
Nothing like Ryan Walters?
Yes,
Right.
he said that the former state superintendent was good at finding problems but not finding solutions. And he says that he is a solution-based leader.
Kylie Thomas, thanks so much for all your reporting, and thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.